Good evening. Welcome to the Diecast Shepherd Racing and Collecting channel and tonight's episode of Brokebenny'S Garage. So I took a trip on up to the flea market this past Sunday and I was very pleased with some of my finds. Tonight, just gonna let you see a couple of these loose finds that I found. There's that Super Bird and I don't know, some kind of little old street rod. Is that a passing gasser maybe? I think it is. Yes. And we got the Thomasina and all these cars that I found, they were either 50 cents or $1. I can't remember which ones were which anymore, but they are in perfect condition on the exterior, and they all roll pretty good actually too. There's that Dodge Viper. That car is something special. I don't know if it was from a special set or something, but it is sharp. It looks great. We got another Ford GT90 and also that was that 32 Ford delivery or something like that. The headlights were not broken. It's in perfect condition. Really nice cars. However, after racing them, one car rose to the top. It was close. That Ford GT90 is very, very fast. But this car was just a bit faster. Beep, 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 beep. Beep, 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 beep. Check this bad unit out. This thing rolls smooth as silk. And I think it's like a Nissan, right? Nissan Z something or other. I don't know. And it's not marked on the bottom, except that it says Hot Wheels and Mattel. And that it's, made in China. Doesn't say what it is. But I feel like I had this in a different color when I was young. The doors open. It's pretty cool. Yes, the other side opens too. And anyway, I think this guy, he defeated all the other rides that I picked up at the flea market. I think this guy has a legitimate chance of working his way up onto the top tier in my case. So I'm gonna go ahead and give him a little something for his wheels, and we're gonna see how he does against the case. All right, hang in there. All right, we got it all dressed up. If anybody knows what those symbols are, I'm sure it's some kind of writing, right? Probably like Japanese or Chinese. I don't know. I'm afraid I'm not real educated on such things. But maybe if you know what that says, you can tell me. But we're ready to go. We're going to start out with our gatekeeper, which is that teetotaler. But this should be an utter blowout. All right, let's check it out. Now, I do happen to know that the near lane runs a little bit faster than the far lane, and so if you're going to advance, you got to win in the far lane. That way I know for sure you're actually faster. All right, let's do this. And go. Oh yeah, not even close. All right, next we're going to go up against we just go right up to the next tier, the Dumpin' A, which was the teetotaler's arch rival. we'll go up against that car there. And go. Easy win, easy win. All right, let's just jump up to the next tier. He's moving up quick. We got that convertible Ferrari. Anybody thinking about Magnum PI there? All right, let's see if he can hold off this Nissan. Cat, you're hindering my video. Oh! I don't think that was fair. I think the cat, let's try that again. Not this time, cat. All right, let's see if we get a little different result when we do it this way. Go! Closer race than I expected, but the Nissan did get past him. All right, and I've picked up a few new people, subscribers. So if you're watching this and you're looking at my case and you're saying, "Man, those cars don't look fast," well, yeah, I'm a little different. Everybody does things a little different, and my rules for my case are they have to be secondhand cars. None of these cars were opened right out of a blister pack, but all stuff that either came to me already opened up, or I found at a flea market or a garage sale or something like that, and they were already loose. Because there's lots of good channels that have timers and all that kind of stuff to really be able to measure the speed of a car, and I don't have that kind of stuff, so I wanted to do something a little different, and that way you see some cars that maybe we don't normally see. Anyway, so that's why my case might look a little different. All right, we're going to move right up to the 4th tier, and we have that Corvette there. Let's see if he can hold off the Nissan. All right, let's see what happens. Go. Good race, but the Nissan does win. And keep in mind, he's winning in the slow lane, so he's moving up pretty good. All right, I'm just going to go ahead and take a chance. We're going to move him right up to the top tier, see if he can get on going up against that Governor there. That Governor at one time was the leader of the case, but then I re-graphited all the cars and recalibrated, and he dropped back down to the 8th car. Anyway, let's see what happens. Ready, set, go. He's out in front. He got the win that time. He's going to advance. All right, let's see. The Citation. Let's move him up to the Camaro. Let's race these two. All right, going up against that 67 Camaro. Go! Oh, the 67 Camaro. What? I don't know if I completely believe that. That was a blowout. All right, we're going to try that one more time just because something didn't seem right about that. That was way too big a difference there. All right, ready, set, go. There we go. Oh, man, now it's the other way. All right, I don't know what's going on here. We had a blowout one way for the Camaro, and then the second race was kind of a blowout the other way for the Nissan. All right, here we go for all the marbles. Go. There we go. The Nissan, I think, is definitely faster. All right, I'm getting pretty excited here. Moving on up. I'm going to skip over the forward force and go right up to that Johnny Lightning Corvette. Now, in my top 3, to get it through in the top 3, you have to win in both lanes. So we'll start with him in the hard lane, and then if he does win, it should be easy for him to win in the fast lane. All right, going against the JL Corvette. Go. Good race. Oh, he got him easy. Wow, maybe that Governor should be further up than he is. Might have to double check him. All right, in the near lane to move into the 3rd spot. Let's go. Oh yeah, he got him. All right, going against the number 2 car. This was sent to me by Mr. Cardo Crafts. It's a mod, and he did this himself. I think he did I don't know, I can't remember what he told me he did now. It's been a while since I even had a chance to race this. Haven't had a car this fast. All right, let's see how it goes. All right. Challenging for the second position in the case. Go. Oh, man. There again, I feel like something strange happened there on the release. Let's do that again. All right. Let's do this second attempt. Go. Much better, but nope. Cartocraft shuts him down. We're gonna switch lanes, see if he can turn it around. All right, ready, set, go. Ooh, he did get him in the fast lane. All right, he earns the right for one more chance in the far lane to try and move on. All right, it's do or die time once again. Can he pull it out one more time? Let's go. Oh, that was so close. Oh, he didn't do it. Oh. Well, we bid thee a sad farewell, teetotaler. You were a strong candidate for a long time, and you shut quite a few people down. But it's time for you to go. Our new gatekeeper is this Mesto Porsche, and then the Lakester, etc. Let me adjust these cars quick. All right. Purple Mazda Z something or other, if that's what you are. Somebody help me figure out what this car is. Made in China. And it's in the third position in my case. Cartocraft puts a stop on him. And Mr. Henry Stanislavski's Hershey's Funny Car that he donated to me is still in the top slot. All right. Well, I have some other business to take care of. So, in last week's did straight out of the pack track attack, this car was declared the winner. However, an eagle-eyed subscriber brought it to my attention that I made a mistake. And that mistake was in the first round when this GT40 raced this Rising Heat, I gave the victory to the GT40. But upon review of the footage, I find that the finish gate actually declared the Rising Heat to be the victor, which means instead of the GT40 going on to face this Ford Transit Connect van, the Rising Heat should have gone on to advance. And then what the eagle-eyed viewer didn't see, or didn't at least bring to my attention, is when I raced these two, I made the same mistake yet again. And I said the GT40 won, when actually, if you go back and review the footage, the finish gate declared this van to be the winner, which then went on to race the Bentley GT3. Of course, the GT3 won decisively. However, in the sake of fairness, we're going to rerun this bracket and see what happens. All right, re-racing GT40 versus Rising Heat. Go! And sure enough, in an almost identical race, Rising Heat does indeed get that win. And that means that the Rising Heat actually means all 5 of the X-Racers advanced into the second round instead of 4 out of 5. So, give the Rising Heat a little love, but now he's got to race this van. All right, Rising Heat against Ford Transit Connect van. Go. Good race. Oh, what? And so, in the new semifinal, we have the Bentley Continental in the near lane, and that's the lane he would have been in, going up against the Rising Heat in the far lane. This could reshape history. Let's see what happens. That's the end of that. The Bentley Continental destroys the Rising Heat and remains champion of the straight out of the pack track attack from last week. And I just wanted to give a special thanks to that keen-eyed observer that found my mistake. That keen-eyed observer being my dad. Thanks, Dad. I appreciate it. Actually, I really do. I don't like making mistakes. I like to know which car is really the fastest. So, we took care of that. And now we're going to move on. Check out those cars, though, that I found at the flea market. I mean, not a scratch on them. They're beautiful. The purple one runs really good. The passing gasser runs like all passing gassers. They're kind of fast, but not super fast. This Viper, man, that's a pretty car. Not fast, but pretty. The Superbird, also pretty, not really all that fast. The Thomasina, I'm pretty sure that's a decent car. It's not super fast, but it's not super slow either. And look at that, it's not scratched or nothing. All just in bins that I found at the flea market. Anyway, hey y'all, I appreciate you joining in tonight. I really thought that Nissan was gonna take a shot at the champ. You got close, but you didn't get there. But that's alright. Alright, well, thanks for watching Brokebenny'S Garage tonight. And we'll see you next week. Well, actually, we'll see you on Thursday if you come back for the straight out of the pack track attack. But in the meantime, be blessed. Good night.